2022. Voice of Young India on Union Budget, a panel discussion. A few pounds of rice from paddy that is harvested from a small piece of land would suffice for an elephant. But what if the elephant itself enters the field and starts eating? What it eats would be far lesser than what it would trample over. As we ponder on this thought, I, Prima D'Souza, from Srinivas University, extend a warm welcome to each and everyone gathered here for this program on Union Budget 2022.
Madam Nirmala Sitharaman is the first female Finance Minister of India. On 1st of February 2022, she presented the Union Budget of 2022-23. To give an insight, as we all know, a budget is a financial plan for a defined period, often 1 year. It may also include planned sales volume and revenues, resources quantities, costs and expenses, assets, liabilities and cash flow. The Union Budget of India also refers to the annual financial statement in Article 112 of the Constitution of India.
Thank you, Abdul, for a brief introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Meghana S. Bandari. Before I start, I thank Dean and the faculties for giving us the opportunity. I will be presenting our presentation, Union Budget 2022. Budget 2022 at a glance. Here we have Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. Union Budget 2022. On 1st Feb 2022, Union Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman presented her fourth budget speech. The Finance Minister said that India's growth estimated to be at 9.2%, higher among all large economies. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman allocated a total of 17,250 crores to Ministry of External Affairs in the Union Budget for the next fiscal, out of which Rs 6,292 crores is for development assistance to countries in India's neighborhood as well as Africa and Latin America.
Thank you, Meghana. PM Gati Shakti is a transformative approach for economic growth and sustainable development. The approach is driven by 7 engines: roads, railways, airports, ports, mass transport, waterways, and logistic infrastructure. These 7 engines are supported by the complementary roles of energy transmission, IT communication, bulk water, and sewage and social infrastructure. The budget outlay for the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has risen 68.5% to Rs 1.9 trillion.
The Union Budget 2022 presented by our Honorable Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman in Lok Sabha on February 1st. It is mainly focused on ensuring assured income of farmers with an announcement of 2.37 lakh crore towards to direct payment minimum support price, that is MSP, to wheat and paddy farmers. This payment would be made over the next year, April 2022-2023. She also announced the plan to promote oil seeds cultivation to reduce the import dependency and for promotion of millets production with emphasis of export. The 1 lakh crore IAF, as I mentioned earlier, AIF was announced in May 2020 as part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan and was meant for spending over the subsequent 6 years.
The budget focused more on research and development. Approximately 25% of the new budget is set upon research and development. Presently, the government is focusing more on R&D on artificial intelligence, geospatial, drone, semiconductors, space economy, etc. Regarding with this, the budget allocation for pensions are neither decreased nor decreased. So, mostly the defense budget of 2022 are more towards procurement of new weapons and etc.
RBI to introduce digital rupee using blockchain technology in 2022-2023. 75 digital banking units to be set up across 75 districts. E-passports with implant chip and futuristic technology to be rolled out. Unique land parcel identification number of IT-based management of land records. Cryptocurrency income will be taxed at the rate of 30%. MSME, that is micro, small and medium enterprise, contribute enormously to the economic and social evolution of the country by promoting entrepreneurship and generating employment opportunities. The Union Budget 2022-23 highlights the MSME sectors, a vital sector that makes up about 45% of the country's total manufacturing output, 40% of exports, and almost 30% of national GDP. The country's fiscal deficit is projecting to be high at 6.9 against 6.8 estimated earlier, with Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman emphasizing the need for strong and sustainable growth through and public investments.
मूषिकवाहन मोदकहस्ता चामरकर्ण विलम्बितसूत्र वामनरूप महेश्वरपुत्र विघ्नविनाशकपाद नमस्ते 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 नमः.
And to bring happiness and contentment, may I now request Professor Keerthan Raj, Dean of College of Management and Commerce, to introduce and welcome the honorable dignitaries on the dais.
We are privileged to have the presence of esteemed eminent personalities as panelists today for our budget analysis. Each of them is so busy in their own plethora of activities, but at the behest of our call, they have made time to be here with us and share their insights on the Union Budget 2022. Mr. S.S. Nayak is the Chartered Accountant practicing in Mangalore for the last 3 decades and also has associates in Udupi and Bangalore. He has completed his Chartered Accountancies from Messrs. C.L. Agarwal and Company, Mumbai, and LLB degree in General from Bombay University. Founder of the reputed educational institute Expert Coaching Classes, he is also the immediate past president of ICAI Mangalore chapter. He has visited numerous countries on professional assignments. He has authored 2 books, Words of the Wise and More Words of the Wise. He is a guest faculty for ICAI in India and abroad, and also for premier management institutions, various banks and MSME forums. He has presented papers in national level seminars and proudly mentored more than 25,000 MSME entrepreneurs in the last 33 years of his profession in India and abroad. Continuously delivering lectures in TV channels, All India Radio and other forums on topics of NRI investment, entrepreneurship development skills, FDI in India, Union Budget, women empowerment, do's and don'ts of business, economic and taxation matters. He has delivered lecture on NRI taxation and FDI at the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Muscat chapter as well. He has forums in newspapers and ICAI bulletins on economics, taxation and MSMEs and startups. He is a resource person in various national seminars and webinars, and he was the Harsha Varada Vyakti in All India Radio. He has also addressed the world famous Akka Sammelana, which was held in Dallas, USA in 2018, and also at Washington DC, USA.
In-campus budget analysis program. But today, our third wave of corona is almost ending, so that we are entering back to our previous style of operation from the campus. And our Honorable Chancellor, with the full enthusiasm and energy, is with us, along with our young dynamic leader, Pro-Chancellor Dr. Srinivas, in order to advise you and bless you during this session. As you know, you are seeing the president of this program, who is a senior chartered accountant and auditor and educationist and entrepreneur. He has done everything, all kind of businesses, and in many businesses he could able to win, and in some businesses he could able to get experience, might not able to continue. but he is a role model to everyone, especially for MBA students who are looking to start their own business in multi-field areas in the society. So our Honorable Chancellor, born in the previous century, during 1937, had his early education, both primary and high school, at Innanje, near Kapu, in Udupi district. And then he completed his BCom, Bachelor degree in Commerce, from MGM College, Udupi. Then he took a decision to do chartered accountant profession, to consider chartered accountant profession. And he came to Mangalore and started his CA studies and completed his CA by 1965. Immediately he started his own consultation firm for auditing, and then he got many opportunities. He has encashed each and every opportunities to grow in his profession. He became the president of South Indian CA Association, then secretary of South Indian CA Association in its professional area. He has started 7 firms under CA Raghavendra Rao Associates Group. Then he started many other businesses, in which one business is hotel business. He started Hotel Srinivas, the first 3-star hotel which provides vegetarian food in this region. Then he started A. Shamrao Foundation in 1983, under which the first college was College of Hotel Management, affiliated to Mangalore University. Then he started many colleges, total 18 colleges under A. Shamrao Foundation in the name of Srinivas Group of Colleges. And in the year 2013, he got an opportunity to convert Srinivas Group, some of the institutions of Srinivas Group, into Srinivas University, a private university in this region, and he has encashed that opportunity. This private university is got birth in Karnataka Legislative Assembly during 2013, and it got permission to offer degree programs, postgraduate degree programs and research programs from UGC in the year 2015. Same year 2015, we got, Srinivas University got permission to accept the degrees of Srinivas University and became a member of All India University Association, AIU. Then in the year 2017, we started and converted our many of colleges which were affiliated to Mangalore University to Srinivas University. So out of them, our MBA, MCom program also shifted from Mangalore University to Srinivas University. So being a educationist and advisor to learned people, and he is a senior advisor to many chartered accountants in all over India. He is a successful entrepreneur and all-rounder, and he is actually a role model to all of us. So you should get energy and inspiration by seeing our Honorable Chancellor at the age of 84. He is very active, very dynamic, and he wanted to meet and interact with the students. From 1965 onwards, after becoming the member of association, Chartered Accountants Association, he started analyzing the union budget every year. He has been invited by many organizations every year for analyzing the union budget. And I think he has analyzed more than 50 union budgets. So that he is the Bhishma of union budget analysis of union budget based on his experience and expertise.
Audio Jungle.
An annual exercise of budget is one that the entire country looks up to. Some hits and misses are common in an exercise of this magnitude. So quickly, I would like to speak about two major areas that the budget focuses on. The first thing is blueprint for Amrit Kal, that is India at 100. Moving on, this year we are celebrating the Amrit Mahotsav. So between the years 76 to 100, it's a blueprint for this 25 years. The second major focus that we have as far as this budget is concerned is big public investment for building modern infrastructure. There are four priority areas that the budget focuses on. The PM Gati Shakti, which the students did present, 7 wonderful growth engines, the roadways, railways, airports, seaways, the mass transit, the logistics in infrastructure. Second important priority in this budget is inclusive development. Third one is financing of investment. And fourth is productive enhancement, sunrise opportunities, energy transition and climate.
The finance minister will come with initially a suitcase, afterwards a briefcase with a lot of expectations, and there will be starting from cigarette, first indirect taxes, starting from cigarette, then from soaps, then vehicles, then even petroleum, diesel, whatnot, cement, steel, for everything either increase or decrease, and immediately we say the price has gone up or price will come down. So like this, and then people like me who are taxpayers as employees would like to see what we are getting out of the direct taxes or income tax, and there will be a lot of say sometimes addition, some slabs are revised, sometimes even the ATC exemptions are given, made more, made less. Then they will say we have made it, simplified the tax process, but in fact it looks to be more complex and complex. So this is what was happening, but of recent the whole trend has changed. You would have seen the other day, February 1st, earlier it was only February 28th. Now on February 1st, Madam Finance Minister did not carry any suitcase or briefcase or even a vanity bag. It was a small pouch with a limited number of prints. Even for, as I was told, for journalists, they were given electronic prints. And the budget did not go too much with the with kind of various taxation. Rather, it is a budget where a futuristic policy or direction is given to the country.
We should first realize that India is the third largest economy in the world and fastest growing economy in the world as certified by IMF with the 9.2% growth rate. Really, hats off to our Prime Minister and entire team for leading the nation in spite of this consecutive third year of pandemic situation. Of course, last year it was the vaccine budget we called, because vaccine was given to all the people of India as well as vaccine was given to economy also. And last budget was continuation of earlier 5 mini budgets also. During pandemics, 5 mini budgets were also announced. Lot of policy matters have also been liberalized, and the last budget was continuation of the 5 mini budgets. With the available means of resources, the budget presented is the very good budget, I can say. In spite of increasing the size of the budget, the fiscal deficit is not alarming. I don't say that it is satisfactory. It is not alarming. We may say the fiscal deposit 3 to 3.5 or 4% may be better, but at this juncture it is not possible to control at that level.
So specific deep diving into those sector itself, there has been interesting things, developments with respect to budget in this space. Solar sector has got almost 20,000 crores. Now, is 20,000 crores a lot? Well, it's a pittance if you consider defense. Defense is like almost 5 lakh crores. Out of that, almost 1 lakh crore goes to pensions. Solar has got 20,000 crores. Now that's great. You know what? It's the absolute base of it last year, I guess, was 5,000 crores. So it's a pretty good jump, I guess. So, you know, what happens to the, like, I represent the micro, small and medium enterprise. So basically, so how does that trickle down affect to me or as an individual? I'm just summarizing for the budget's sake. How does it affect us, right? At the end of the day, what we're going to see after 3 or 4 years, we're going to see the solar module prices going down further. That's what we can see from this budget. The 20,000 crores, it's basically a production-linked incentive scheme for manufacturing of indigenous solar modules. So this is only the big boys who are going to get the money. The Reliance and, you know, name Entrenusis, MV, these are the big giants in this space. But the trickle-down effect is going to happen with the price of the solar modules, which will effectively people like us who is going to install solar as well as who's going to put solar, for them the consumer will benefit. So it's going to happen after 3 years. The bad side of what has happened, is the customs duty has been increased on imported modules. So they've increased it by 40% on the modules, 25% on the cells. Now that's going to play a big bad part because of the fact that now, do we have sufficient indigenous manufacturers in India so that they can meet the Indian targets? No. So, yeah. So the point is, that's why I'm saying you 3 years from now, yes. As of right now, this year, the prices are going to start increasing. So let's get, ready to that part. The second part on EVs, electric vehicles. You had a slide on that. What you mentioned over there's an interesting thing, but I'm sure people have to get that, understand the concept, how is it going to help a common man. Let me say the bad part of what has happened in the current budget for EV. The bad part is they've removed the subsidy. So that means anybody who goes to purchase electric vehicles post 2023, the next fiscal year, there's no subsidy. So you're going to see the price. It's going to escalate. For 2-wheelers, 4-wheelers, name it. But interesting thing what has been added to this budget is battery as a service. Now that's a very interesting concept, and so battery swapping will become very interesting. So that means what? So let me put it this way, how does it affect a common man? When you buy an electric vehicle, 40 to 50% of the cost, you pay for the battery. Okay. So now, with the battery swapping model, leasing companies are going to come in and they're going to say, geez, you know what, common guy, you don't have to buy it. You can lease it from us. So you don't have to pay that extra capital cost of 50%. We can see reduction in prices. So you can buy the battery model. It's a swapping model. So it's long-term lease, I can buy the batteries. So that's going to be advantageous. When it's going to start, I expect another 1 year from now, where real action is going to start from that.
Can I invite Mr. Harish to speak your thoughts about the budget?
ರಾಘವೇಂದ್ರ ಅವರು ಕಟ್ಟಿದ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಅದನ್ನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮುನ್ನಡೆಸಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ನಿಜವಾಗಿ ಯಂಗ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ MBA ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ವಾಹನಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಬಜೆಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೋಡಿದೆ. ಅದರ ಒಳಗಿನ ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿಯ ವಿಷಯದ ಈಗ ಶರತ್ರ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂಡಲೇ ನಮಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಬಂತು. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದೆ. SS ನಾಯಕರು ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದರು, ಬಜೆಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೇನಿದೆ ಅಂತ, ಬಜೆಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತ, ಸಹಜವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಮ್ಮ ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಕನ್ನಡ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೃಷಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಉದ್ಯಮ ಬೆಳೆದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ನಾವು ಅದು ನನ್ನ ಸುಳ್ಯ ಪುತ್ತೂರು ಬೆಳ್ತಂಗಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೃಷಿಕರು ಬಹಳ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ನಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇವತ್ತು ನಿಂತಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಘಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ನಿಂತಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಸರ್, ನೀವು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ನವರು ಯಾರು ಕೃಷಿಕರಿಗೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮಟ್ಟದ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಅಡಿಕೆ ಕೃಷಿ ಮಾಡಿ ತನ್ನ ಮಗನನ್ನು ಕಲಿಸಿದ ಕಾರಣ ಇವತ್ತು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರವಾಗಿ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆ ಬೆಳೆದಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೃಷಿಕರ ಪಾತ್ರ ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡದಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಪ್ರತಿ ಬಾರಿ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೃಷಿಕರಿಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಘಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಮೆಚ್ಚಿದ ಒಂದು ಅಂಶ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಉದ್ಯಮಗಳಿಂದ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ 18.5% ಅವರು ಅವರ ಲಾಭಾಂಶದ ಮೇಲೆಗೆ ತೆರಿಗೆ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ಅದನ್ನು 15% ಇಳಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ನನಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಖುಷಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ವಿಷಯ. ಇದು ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿದೆ, ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಘಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋರು ಕೇಳಿದೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಇದು ನಮಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಇದರಿಂದ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇದೆ, ಇದರ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ರೈತರಿಗೆ ತಲುಪ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಅದು 1 ಕೋಟಿಯಿಂದ 10 ಕೋಟಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಒಳಗೆ ಏನು ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ ಆ ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಘಗಳಿಗೆ ಇದರಿಂದ ನೇರ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದರು. ನಮ್ಮ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 150ಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಘಗಳು, ಬಹಳ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶ ಸಹಕಾರ ಸಂಘಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತು 1 ಕೋಟಿ, 5 ಕೋಟಿ, 10 ಕೋಟಿ ಅಂತ ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ನಾನು ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ಬಜೆಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗೆ ಇದರಿಂದ ಲಾಭ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ.
Thank you, Harish sir. I think sir raised 2 very relevant points. The focus of cooperatives, reduction in surcharge, reduction in the AMT, very, very important points. As sir very rightfully said, our standing, local standing is more on cooperatives, and I think cooperative sector directly benefits the farmers. So reduction in surcharge, reduction in AMT, I think alternate management as far as cooperative is concerned was a good move. And second very important point, that is actually one of my question. Please don't get me wrong, I am playing the devil's advocate. I would like to go back 6-7 years back. It was Sri Arun Jaitley sir's budget, and he said we are planning for 2020. Now Madam Nirmala Sitharaman says we are planning for India at 100. What is happening to the present day people? I think more on this I would invite Dharmendra sir to give his opening remarks and share your thoughts, sir.
What is the budget, this particular budget addressed? Exactly that. How to tame inflation and how to give a push to the economy. How do we generate growth and more employment? Now, what do we understand with inflation? Inflation means simply there's more demand and less supply. The prices keep going up. So there are 2 different policy aspects of inflation. Reduce demand, increase supply, inflation comes under control. You put more money in the hands of taxpayers or the citizens, you are not going to help inflation. Inflation will move up. So the policy is very clear. No tax benefits, no further money to be put in the hands of people for this year. The more tax rebates you give, the more Manrega you increase, the more subsidies you give, you are putting more money in the hands of people. Supply is not going to come in immediately and inflation will go out of control. Wholesale inflation, that is called wholesale price index. Retail is called consumer price index. Wholesale inflation in India is close to 12%. The prices are just running away. At the retail level, the inflation is still under control because of the last year's low base. It is not that the retail inflation is low. The retail inflation is also high, but because of the low base effect, where the last year inflation had touched virtually 0.5% or 1%, we are seeing 4.5% thereabout retail inflation at this point in time. So the policy is very clear to tame inflation. And if you see the budget figures, where there is allocation of money for rural development is less, for Manrega is less, for housing is less, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, for subsidies is less, for fertilizers is less. Government has curtailed the money being given in the hands of people. That's one aspect of it.
Thank you, Dharmendra sir. I think it was really wonderful listen to you, speaking your thoughts. Now the panel is, we are open. Even the audience can raise their question. My first question to any of the panelists, Dharmendra sir, you mentioned about not putting money in people's hand. You mentioned about some base points, basic points and all. A common person doesn't understand that, sir. What I thought is, there are three ways in which I believe the problem of employment can be solved. And I believe the government has addressed two. One is giving the micro, small and medium enterprises the fillip, so that they can create employment, manufacturing, production can happen. Second is the huge capex investment, the 35% steep increase, unbelievable increase. No one would have imagined. And third, I thought, putting a little money in the hands of salaried class. Because I understand below the pyramid, I doubt whether anyone is a taxpayer. It is a salaried class. They are very prompt in payment. SS Naik sir also mentioned about, we are not supposed to talk about standard deduction. We are not supposed to talk about increase in, say, ATC. So I believe we're still at 25,000 or a 50,000 rupees. I think that would have been a real cheer for the salaried class, for the troubled times that people are in, especially the salaried class. So your take, sir.
This capex 35.4% increase, 7.5 lakh crore. See, when capex increase is there, it will not much affect the fiscal deficit. If they spend for subsidies and giving money in the hands of the people, automatically the fiscal deficit will increase, because it will not contribute to any asset. Here, if you spend for capex, automatically all peripheral sectors, demand for cement, demand for steel, demand for all other materials, demand for labor, everything will increase. Automatically MSMEs will also be empowered.
Correct.
Another is that PLI scheme, 14
Correct.
sectors.
Yes.
They are going to create lakhs of jobs through PLI scheme. You must be aware about that electronic goods and all. In 2014 and all, just 15
Very
to
limited,
20,000 crore. Now more than 2 lakhs crores we are producing. And after China, everybody lost trust on China. Now we have to encash or grab that opportunity of China. Moreover, they have empowered more to the states now. They are giving interest-free loan to the states, 1 lakh crore.
Yeah.
So by
Interest-free
that,
borrowing.
yes, definitely, because interest-free loan to states, there also they should utilize for capex. So whenever there is a boost for capex, automatically private people also, they will also invest for capex. See now, corporate tax collection is the record time high. Now this year, they have already surpassed the budgeted this within 9 months. Now whatever surplus in the hands of corporates, definitely they will go for further expansion. Of course, the installed capacity should be utilized to the maximum extent. Once that is exhausted, definitely they will go for expansion. So that this will have ripple effect, so that job creation will be automatically there. Then there will be more and more money available in the hands of the people, but not sitting idle, but they have to work. If they work, then they will get money. Udyoge nasti daridram, japato nasti patakam, maunecha kalaho nasti, nasti jagarite bhayam. That means if anybody wants to work hard, definitely he can earn. But simply in sitting by home, it is not possible to earn money. One more thing you told, that Manrega allocation,
Yeah.
earlier you told, 73,000 crore. It is not reduced. It is same of last year. But they have revised the budget because of COVID situation. All these labor class, they went to their respective native place.
But the number of
Now
days, has come down.
Now they have come back. See, what happens is, see, Manrega for what? When they don't get job elsewhere, then they will, it is the last resort to go for Manrega. What is the daily wages under Manrega they pay?
Very limited.
If I want to hire one labor here, I have to pay per day 600 to 800 rupees. Manrega how much? 200 or 300 rupees per day. So that is the last resort. So definitely they have other opportunities which they are creating. Instead of giving a fish in the hand, they are teaching people how to make fishing. So nobody is hungry now. That is taken care. So but people are angry. So there is one WhatsApp joke I have seen. Only 6 crore people file their return 1.5 to 2 crore people, they pay taxes. But all other people, more than 100 crore people, they are angry that the tax rebate is not there. That is the situation in our nation.
No, I think our focus is on those who pay taxes, not on those who don't pay. Dharmendra sir, your thought. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think people can raise their thoughts. I think volunteers can help get me the chits if you have related question. Yes, sir.
See, just before the COVID pandemic hit all of us, that is the year 2019-20, can anyone tell me what was the fiscal deficit of our country? Do you all remember? Anyone? No, prior to COVID. Prior to COVID, it was below 4%. This last 2 years, the government has supported the economy as well as the people who lost jobs or the workers or the migrant workers or the farmers through huge fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit is nothing but printing currency and giving money to people. Any student of economics will understand the more you print, the more will be inflation. Inflation has caught up with us down the line, more than 12 to 14% in wholesale price index and almost 4.5% in consumer price index. Now to pander to one segment of taxpayer in our economy, it does not work, because then the other segments will also come. Why not us? MSME will come up, why not us? Other taxpayers will come up, those who are not salaried class, why not us? So pandering to one segment does not help in any which way. That's point one. Point two, where's the question of giving any tax relief when our fiscal deficit is still 6.4%? The government is faced with a task to reduce the fiscal deficit. How do we reduce the fiscal deficit? A, by increasing the revenue. Unless and until your revenue goes up, your fiscal deficit will not come down. How do we increase the revenue? By either increasing the growth, that is the GDP, or by increasing taxes. At this point in time, to tax people higher is also not a wise option. The only option left is to increase the growth. And the worst option will be to increase the revenue by giving further benefits. That's the worst option available with any economy at this point in time. And wisely enough, the government has stopped the temptation. We all know there are elections coming in the 5 states. Huge temptation was there with the government to give some sops to the people at large, so that they can get some positive votes in their favor. But government has resisted that temptation and not pandered to any class of the society or any segment of the society by giving freebies or tax sops. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. My simple question, everyone is asking. Now we are talking about Amrit Kal, one of the focus areas of this budget, the 25 years that is ensuing, coming up. Are we losing something in present in taking care of our future? Because we are planning for 25 years. What about today? I would like to quote late APJ Abdul Kalam. Somewhere in 2006-7, sir mentioned about India at 2020. Everyone were inside their house in 2020. Then I mentioned about late Sri Arun Jaitley's budget of 2015. He said India at 2020. Now in 2022 we are talking about India at 100. So are we losing on the present, just focusing on the future? A simple question.
Naturally, in any long-term planning, there will be short-term pains will be there. Of course, when we get into short-term pain, we always look back. As you rightly said, 2020 was one big benchmark or time for many things earlier. And probably, if you look on various angles, a lot of things have happened in 2020, especially the increase in GDP, the increase in educational standards, then the number of jobs. If you see the total, financial levels, total and per capita income. If you see the per capita income, and probably that BPL and all has no meaning now. It has to be rewritten. So these are things have happened, but still, rightly said, 2047 is quite a long, but it's only a vision. Whereas, when we look into this present day, that's what I was in my opening remarks said. The trend is not, budget is not for 1 year. Budget is part of a long process. It is one step in the long journey. So many of the things which has happened last year is continuing, especially now coming to education sector, because I am into education. What happened last year was because of COVID, we all felt that everything went, education is very badly hit. But in the education sector, people have learned a lot.
Sir, your thoughts? Are we losing out on the present?
Where is the problem? Much problem is not there because tax collection already there is a boost.
Yeah, this is from government point of view.
Government point of view, no. It is from the tax collection government point of view. More means who is paying the tax. If there is no income, why people have to pay tax?
No, that's what I said. People are paying.
Second thing, let me brief. Second thing is, now people think that no freebies to them. It is not necessary. See, one thing I will tell you, in 90% of the people's mind, whenever the central budget is announced, what is for me?
Yes.
See, there are three stages, three types of budget.
Correct.
Central, state and local budget. So, state government and local government, they should take care of all these aspects. The work of the central government to only formulate policies and channelize the resources. Implementation is left to the states and local governments. Now for states also they are enabling the states by giving 50 years interest-free loans, and they can also make more and more welfare measures. And I recently told, see, there is nothing new announcement. Suppose if they make announcements, what opposition people say? Just for vote's sake they have done. So it is only growth-oriented budget. And today's situation, see, MSMEs you told. MSMEs, GCL they have given. ECGL or GCL they call by different name.
Emergency credit line
Emergency
guarantee.
credit line 20% plus 10%,
Yeah.
30%. For hospitality sector, 40% they have given. But state should act in tandem with the central. See what happened in state. State budget they should implement this. Minimum that electricity charge, 2 months or 3 months only they waived. They should waive entire COVID period minimum electricity charge, that fixed charge, for all the industries across. That they have not done. That they have to do. See, the problem with the state governments is they want to make only populist budgets.
So you believe in the saying, fine is a tax for doing something wrong, and tax is a fine for doing something good. So people are doing good, they need to pay taxes. So your thoughts on the micro, small, medium enterprises, as sir very rightful, because when you said something that they should have, waived off the entire thing, sir was very happy, because that statement, there was a little takeaway for him. So likewise, everyone looks into the budget what they have.
I'll just tell you, sir, when you talk about electricity, there are two components to it. One is the capacity charge and one is the electricity charge. Electricity charge is what now it's running and your meter is running. Capacity is the sanction load which has been allotted to you. So when you said fixed capacity, basically I would like to argue that, capacity will always be there with you. Electricity charge removed. Capacity, what happens is some power company has to develop some more assets. That is again a capacity. And that capacity is what you are paying in terms of lifelong for this sanction load. That is your 5 kilowatt in your house or 3 kilowatt or whatever kilowatt, 100 kilowatt over here. So that's one part of it, sir. But sir, all well said. The semantics and that's just a semantic part of it. Fair enough. Where I am coming from is the first question. What you started off with the whole conversation part of it. Are we losing the present by looking too much into the future? Sir, I would my thoughts will be very specific to renewable industry, very, very specific, and it is fair. And this, To summarize the question, to summarize the answer, no. When India started renewables, that is, when I use the word renewable, it's only solar. And right now, all the push is towards solar, not others. I mean, be it wind or small hydro or some other biogas or biomass. So when India started off solar, this was in 2009. And that time, what was the capacity of India? 30 megawatts. 30 megawatts. Just remember, don't think about mega. Just whenever I use the word mega, think 10 to the power of 6, 1 million. So 30 megawatts. Where we stand right now, that is 2021 or 2022. The solar has hit 50,000 megawatts. 50,000 megawatts. We started with 30. We are now 50,000. So let me say one more part of it. When Manmohan Singh ji announced the first target for solar, he said 21,000 megawatt by 2021. I am happy. When Modi ji came, immediately announced we will hit 100,000 megawatts by 2021. We have surpassed Manmohan Singh's target by crazy amounts. He said 21,000 by 2021. We are 50 right now, 50,000.
Sir, I think you can respond to sir.
Yeah, just allow me 2 minutes.
Sir, there is another question, that is domestic debt of the nation is 150 to, I am not getting the handwriting up, even after reading so many answer sheets for the last 23 years. 17 less gross last year, budget proposes steep increase as interest on loan and 3.5 lakh crores towards principal payment. I hope you understand, sir. I am missing some words in between. If market borrowings grow at this rate, India will face a debt trap. How to reduce debt? How to raise FD of 16.61 lakh crores without affecting capex? I hope you have understood the missed words in between. Yes, you can go ahead, sir.
I have to basically answer on 3 different questions. So let me take them one by one. The first is, are we missing out something today for a very long-term goal? There we have to understand whether the house is on fire today or not. Many people realize that house is on fire very, very late, and when half the house is burned down, they wake up and they say, oh, house was on fire. When the house is on fire, who is the last person you will call? And who is the first person you will call? The last person you call is the interior designer when your house is on fire. And the first person you call is the fire department when your house is on fire. So let us not look at calling the interior designer at this point in time, but the fire department at this point in time, because we have to understand whether the house is on fire or not. You imagine the inflation in USA is a 40-year high. 40 years high. Is not a temporary phenomena, is not a short-term phenomena, is not happening once in a decade. After 40 years, we are coming to this inflation in the USA. In Europe, the inflation is at a 30 years high. In India, we don't worry about inflation because we have seen several highs in the last few decades. So for us, it's part of the course. So we are not so worried. But when you talk about the global economy, and India being very much a major part of the global economy, the world economy, if you look at it from the concept of whether house is on fire, yes, the economic house of the world is on fire. And if we accept that, we have to understand and frame our policies from that perspective, rather than from giving temporary reliefs and temporary benefits. So I hope that answers the first part of the question. So 1 lakh crores, government has to pay this year just to pay the debts of these 2 public sector undertakings, which cannot be postponed any further. The government has very sensibly realized that in the last 1 year, state government has also spent a lot of money on fighting COVID. All the COVID patients don't go to private hospitals. 90% or 80% of the COVID patients go to the government camps, government set up hospitals. Only 10 or 15% go to the private hospital. Where is that money coming from? State government is spending. State government has lost on tremendous revenue be it stamp duty, be it state excise, be it part of GST. Who is going to compensate the state government? State government is not able to do any capital investment. Sensibly enough, in this budget, 1 lakh crore has been given to the state government for infrastructure on 50 years interest-free loan basis. Where is that money going to come from? The third aspect, the earlier bonds which were issued by the UPA regime, which is called petro bonds, now they are maturing year after year. Now that has to be brought onto the balance sheet of the central government. That was outside the balance sheet when it was issued 10 years back. Now government is bringing that into the balance sheet of the government and is accounted as a kind of repayment of liability. From where is that money going to come from? Our fiscal deficit is already very high. We cannot risk the global down rating of our country. If that happens, our economy will be in a real difficult spot at this precarious time. We cannot afford to do that. So try to understand where the government is coming from, what is the current economic scenario. We have had it very easy this year because of a lot of management done by both the state governments and the central government. We have not been allowed to face the difficult scenario. Whereas GST current year has grown by more than 25%. It's not going to be repeated in the next year. So that answers the, more or less all the other questions.
Yes. So I'm going to some specific questions now. Sir, Narayan sir, there are 745 districts in our country. 75 digital banking units in 75 districts to support rural farmers and senior citizens. Going with the Amrut Mahotsav. Don't you think that number could have been more? Why only 75?
Yeah, actually it's a start. It's a beginning now. The first thing is you would have seen ICICI Bank in private sector had already started. Students should have seen a beautiful advertisement also saying that from their house, my branch is that open, and not only that, my branch is this house, Akshara house or this house or whatever is his house, like that. Now the budget proposes it for public sector banks. The clear word is public sector banks, 75 digital banks. Now when it is a digital bank, probably with the 75 digital banks, they can cover a long, double the districts also, because there may not be details have not come, but it may not be restricted. And once it is a digital banking, I feel even one digital bank also can cover the entire country if it is having the proper infrastructure, especially IT infrastructure. So that is where thing. And one more thing, very interesting thing government has done is that all the post offices, core banking has been brought. Because post offices, once they are brought into core banking, they can issue cards, and ATM, even for my account in a rural post office, I can come to a city and draw through a ATM.
I would like to draw an interesting statistic, sir. I think all young people should find out what is the average age of employees in the post office to initiate the core banking services. This is also very important. So that's very important, because people working in post office should also understand the kind of leverage that they can have through technology. Just by giving core banking solutions, replication or duplication of services of what the banks are already doing. So when you say 1.5 lakh post office offices, in the country, I think 50,000, more than 50,000 would only be doing the duplication what the bank is doing. It is the limited remote areas where we have the business correspondents, maybe those areas will be more useful. Sir, next question is on battery swapping. Battery swapping policy, you made an initial remark, so possibly I can go along with sir. I believe, now we have a two-wheeler electric vehicle. Sir very rightfully said, I need to decide to buy within March. They are starting, their delivery in March, because I booked one. We say either you can have ownership of the battery or battery swapping proper. They have given 3 options for the buyers. Now when you mentioned about leasing, when I take a battery on lease, don't you think that will also generate revenue to the government instead of battery charging, which will only increase or consume little more units at my place and again easily run without any cost for maybe the next 5-6 years. So don't you think battery swapping is in disguise a revenue generation model for the government? That is my question.
I will get to this part of it. Let me say what is the negative part of it, and then we'll get to the positive part. So negative part is the most interesting part. See, now I'll just give you, see, this is the battery in your vehicle, okay? Now you have discharged it. You go to a leasing guy. He will take this one, give you this one. Comparatively charged one.
Not new one, charged one.
Charged one. Now the question, now there's a lot of intricacies that needs to be addressed. The point is, this was given a very interesting question. Yeah, whether the vehicle manufacturer himself gave you this, or this particular battery. I don't know who. How do you know that this battery? You gave him a new battery, man. You gave the lease guy the new battery. He gives you some battery. What A and B, you don't know the technical differences. It might conk out also. Huh? At any point of time when you're going somewhere. Those remedies and those intricacies have not been addressed, part of it. Right now the model is not clear on, hey, you know what, the manufacturer is now scot free from this. It's only the lease guys who's going to handle this. That time it's all good for you because your warranty is going to be provided by the lease guy. He's going to address that. Even this conks out, you can go to the lease guy and tell him this. Now, at this point of time, this guy, if you go and tell him, boss, you gave me this and this is incorrect. Hey, you know what? That is yours only. What mechanism is there for you to fight and all that? No, these are the technical part of it. Because what happened is, lithium, there is a fundamental problem with lithium which is not being addressed, which is the major problem with the problem with lithium is the charging part of it. What people are talking about, fast charging. You know the problem with that fast charging? The power electronics, that is the electronics to push the current, is all fantastic. What is in the battery, the anode, cathode, material part of it, whether they are capable enough to absorb that, and whether they will survive for that long, that is not understood.
Correct.
So now we are pushing with madness that we want to do fast charging and all that. Now let me come back to your point of it, that the second part of the question what you raised.
The revenue part.
The revenue part of it. Hey, you know what? Of course, the government is going to earn money on this. Of course, the government is in terms of taxes. Either leases, whatever I do leasing. I mean, somebody is going to get money out of it. Somebody is going to make income out of it. Somebody is going to generate taxes out of it, and that taxes have to be given. So obvious, there's no this thing at all that battery as a service is a good. I mean, it's one model which is interesting. There are several models that are going to come now.
Correct.
This is one model which is being pushed. They're thinking that what is the main intention behind this? The main intention behind this battery as a service model is addressing range anxiety.
One very personal question. How many years do you feel India will have a good EV ecosystem if anyone wants to buy an electric vehicle from this time?
Well, let's put it, as I told you again, in a EV, 40 to 50% of the cost is battery, that too lithium battery. As of right now, pretty much there are only three big countries which have lithium source. The biggest is China. All your lithium comes from China. Then you have Bolivia, South America, and Chile.
Yeah.
These are the 2-3 countries which have the lithium. Now fundamentally, if you're going lithium way, I see there's a fundamental problem. You're going to hit the roadblock. You're going to hit on the wall. Yeah. Well, that's an interesting thing what Reliance has done now. They have started focusing on sodium-ion batteries.
Okay.
So they have actually purchased a company in UK for sodium-ion. And sodium, the good part is the material is available in plenty everywhere.
Okay. Thank you. Crypto taxation. All the young people who are all very much crazy about cryptos, I have a personal take on crypto taxation because I have spoken to a very young chartered accountant who is an expert, an authority I should say. So possibly I would like to listen from the panelists. What is your take? There are few questions also that were sent by students. It is no longer a currency because currency can be, digital currency is only that which is issued by RBI. Meghna, is your question relating to that?
So considering that we are reaching the metaverse situation, I mean, has everybody knowledge of metaverse, like a fully digitalized environment in a 3D software. So considering we are going into that phase and the metaverse currency is NFTs and cryptocurrencies, why is it that we are discouraging generations, I mean the young generations from actually trading in them? It's not, I'm not talking about it in the, I mean I understand the difficulties, I understand the problems, but see, we are going, I mean the US has already accepted, the Europe, some
Many of the countries have taken it as their currency, legal
they've
tender.
taken it, but India is very discouraging. I mean, first of all, okay, I understand RBI has tried to make a new cryptocurrency for themselves, but it completely reduces the whole point. The whole point of having a cryptocurrency is that it is decentralized. But the fact that RBI is starting to print out its new cryptocurrency just means it's centralized. And that just destroys the whole point.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
And
flavor
then,
I
okay,
should say.
No, that's not the only point. The second point is that the taxation, 30% on the profit of your crypto. Okay, and not only that, profit, if it's a profit then the government takes it. If it's a loss then no set off also. So what is the...
So one point that I would like to add, all young people, just I quoted some 4 months back, those who are into cryptos may commit suicide. To my people I had mentioned this. Simple reason was because there was a likely ban. So 30% tax is far better than banning cryptos, which the government anyway could not have done. So it is better to tax. Sir, SS Naik, your thoughts?
See,
sir.
there is a confusion in the minds of the people, digital rupee and cryptocurrency. Digital rupee is nothing to do with the cryptocurrency. Again and again I am
No. That is very clear, sir. That is very clear.
1 second.
Anything other than issued, other than by RBI is a digital asset.
Digital rupee is to avoid note printing costs. And it is like any other now, Paytm and other Bharat Pay and all, the RBI is going to make a separate digital rupee this under their control. 1 minute.
No.
The cryptocurrency, that is entirely different. Like your commodity market, like your share market, it is a crypto market. Okay. Since it is not recognized who is the controller, who is the father, who is the mother, nobody knows in cryptocurrency. So somebody asked me also in Red FM, they asked, what is cryptocurrency? I told, cryptocurrency trading if you do, millionaire can become billionaire, billionaire can become millionaire also. So because we ourselves, we don't know how it will be traded, how it will be mining, all those things. It is easy to say, but it is unknown domain. So that's why they want to discourage. In case if you want to take risk and do the business, what government is saying, if you do profit, give me the tax, that's all. And in the same year, if you make profit loss in the crypto, it will be set off. But cryptocurrency, under the cryptocurrency, whatever loss cannot be set off against any other income. Even speculation also same system. Even carry forward losses also they have not mentioned.
Sir, I would like to, sir, would you like to add anything to what sir said?
Add one more thing.
Yeah.
See, we have to understand that taxation is on any income which is generated not only within India or outside India, but by Indians. Whether you are buying a foreign asset and selling a foreign asset outside the domain of India, still it's taxable. So many of the young people may not understand. This Vodafone case.
No, it's exciting for young people to be online and buying something.
Say like Vodafone case. When the company was taken over, the shares got transferred internationally.
Correct.
Government wanted to tax it, but that time the provision was not there in the act.
Retrospective.
They brought a new law with retrospective effect, which the Supreme Court finally said no, nothing doing.
That was the biggest mistake that the UPA government did.
So whatever income, if it's earned by an Indian, government has the authority to tax it. Second issue, the morality of taxation. Taxation has no morality. If you are a robber, if you declare that I have robbed someone this year and I made 10 lakhs income, you have to pay tax. You are a smuggler, you have made money as a smuggler. If you declare it, you have to pay tax. How is crypto profit different from that? It's still an electronic profit which you are making, which you are bringing through the banking system. So I am really surprised why the government didn't tax the crypto income for all these years.
No, the idea was the government had no idea what it is.
So it should have been taxed. It has been brought this year. Now the nitty-gritty of why it is 30%, why it is not at par with equity shares, why losses are not allowed to
Set
be carried
off,
forward or set off, those are all small nitty-gritties which government may look at it in the years to come.
Now I would like to throw a little light on how crypto dealing works. This is from an expert, and also I would like to share, if you want to undergo a course on cryptocurrency, I'll just share a small website. You can do your 10 years course, a 10 hours course, I beg your pardon, not years, 10 hours course on crypto. It will be very, very clear. So I'll share that particular link with you all soon. Now there are two kinds of dealings in cryptos. One is peer-to-peer, that is under the table transaction. No government in this world will know that transaction has happened, because crypto doesn't leave a paper trail at all. It is an algorithm based dealing. Only issue that I can understand, Dharmendra sir is laughing, because if I sell, money comes to my bank account, government will definitely question kahan se aaya. Money can also be brought in small amounts also, different names as well. All these are very much a possibility, because there is absolutely no paper trail. Second is through exchange. The WazirX, the Binance, the Coinbase, these are all exchanges where they have taken the KYC norms, and people are dealing through all these sites. So when I want to deal in cryptos through these exchanges, I need to submit my KYC, my Aadhaar, my PAN, everything is submitted. So what taxation we are talking about, 30%, is through these exchanges only, not the peer-to-peer transaction. Why I raise this point is, people who are dealing through exchanges now have 2 month time, already 4 days are gone. By 31st of March, 90% is going to shift to peer-to-peer, and number of people trading through exchanges is going to come down, because young India is very intelligent. They know how to avoid taxes. I won't use the word evade taxes. How to avoid taxes, they are very, very clear. And I believe this course on cryptos, if you go through, you will realize, because it leaves only numbers. Who has sold it, who has purchased it, there is absolutely no idea. Those who deal in cryptos know it very clearly. Because I have my cousin who is little education-wise a little behind, but crypto-wise far ahead than the government. That is what I can say. And one major issue, sir, just my last take, definition of cryptos as given in the budget. Section, I think it's section 2, clause 47A. I'll just read out, and there's issue with only 2 words in that. Any information or code or number or token not being Indian currency or foreign currency, generated through cryptographic means or otherwise by whatever name called, providing a digital representation of value exchange with or without consideration, with the promise, that is one word, or representation of having inherent value or functions as a store of value or a unit of account, including its use in any financial transaction or investment, but not limited to investment scheme, and can be transferred, stored or traded electronically. The issue is with 2 words. One is token, another one is promise. In crypto dealings, no one promises any amount to anyone. You invest a 39,000 today buying that one Bitcoin, a portion of it. Tomorrow it will be worth 5 rupees only. So there is no question of the word promise in the entire crypto dictionary. And second is token. I said there is no question of token because there is no paper trail at all. So the question is, how can the government tax the peer-to-peer transaction? Exchanges number is going to go down in the next 2 months. Sir, your takes.
The trail of crypto profits or crypto transaction is through your bank account. If you do not operate through bank, there is no way the government can come to know. Or if you operate through a bank where the bank account is opened in a tax-free haven and you are clever enough not to disclose it to the Indian authorities, the government will never come to know what transactions you are doing. Correct. And what banking transactions have happened, because that is beyond the purview of the government. So still there are a lot of such, tax avoidance or tax evasion possibilities in crypto. It's not that it does not exist, but maybe over a period of time, government will figure out how to deal with it. So finally, it will all be dealt with.
Yes, and I mentioned about a site where you can, do your course on cryptocurrency if you are interested. It is Indigo Learn Blockchain. The name of the site is Indigo, INDIGO LEARN. blockchain. It's a 10 hours course and you can get a certificate on cryptos also. And realize you still have 2 months time, so you can act fast. Do that course by tomorrow and deal in cryptos. So possibly, I believe there was a great value addition listening to all the experts on different aspects of the budget. And I would really like to thank Srinivas University, all the head honchos of Srinivas University, Madam Kirtana, Sir Aital, and all the participants, both physically present and virtual, for giving us this wonderful opportunity. Sorry, I am concluding on behalf of everyone. So, giving us this wonderful opportunity to share our thoughts on this budget. And I believe, as the theme rightly mentioned, Voice of Young India, and I believe we have analyzed the budget to the level that all the people here amidst us, have understood is. So once again, a big thank you on behalf of all the panel members. So thank you once again. Over to the organizers.
Compliment for the growth of the nation. Always we should think nation first, then I am next. But the problem in India is I am first, then nation, pahad mein gaya. That thinking we should not have. What we should think that at the particular situation, at this juncture, what the government has done, that decision we should respect. Raja Pratyaksha Devata. Any law of the country, once it is passed in the Lok Sabha or Parliament, we should respect it and we should go ahead with that. Whatever thinking, whatever discussions we can make now, but government has already invited pre-budget memorandum. During that time all were sleeping. Nobody is interested in giving pre-budget memorandum. Okay, now also it is only finance bill, not finance act. Post-budget memorandum can also be given through our elected representatives. But our elected representatives, the sorry state of affairs is, ruling party always supports whatever they have done. Opposition party opposes whatever ruling party has done. This is the problem. They should represent the real problems of the people, and people should give pre-budget memorandum. They should call for post-budget memorandum meetings with the people. They should collect this gist and they should give all these gist to the finance ministry, and they should take some decision in the Lok Sabha. Then there can be some changes or amendments can be done. Otherwise, just it is a debate without any this. There is a saying, no, meeting is a place. No, meeting is a place where discussion takes place without any decision.
Where hours are wasted and minutes are recorded.
Yeah, then that is the only thing now. So to avoid this, whatever it may be, we have already given our inputs. Let us send some inputs through them, Finance Ministry or CBDT for tax measures, anything. We have to make our efforts. Whether they listen to us or not, it is left to them. But people can make an effort. Chamber of Commerce is there. Then our various our institute is also there, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. We are also doing the same thing. Let's have a frank opinion of the people. Then we can report it to the Finance Ministry so that they can take decisions. That's all. Thank you very much for giving us opportunity to have a wonderful discussion, and it's my pleasure to participate in our this Srinivas University this budget session. That is our C.A. Raghavendra Rao. He is guru, mentor, guide for all our chartered accountants in Mangalore, and he is ably supported by our Dr. Srinivas Rao also, now second generation also joining. It is very nice. So let's hope for the many more discussions of this type involving not only your students but also general public, so that our university will rank still at a higher place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Over to the organizer.
Thank you all the panel members for your fruitful discussion, and special thanks to Professor Manoj Lewis for moderating the session very smoothly. Now I invite Ms. Meghana Rao to speak a few words to our audience.
First and foremost, I think 2022, but like Sir said, like 2020, even 2022 was a guideline, a deadline for so many schemes that the government had promised. Mainly having 24-hour electricity in all rural households, including water supply for every village. They even had the promise about bullet train to be issued by this year. I think that was a 2018 headline of some newspaper. But sadly, I'm not sure if that is possible. But being a youth, it is my duty and job to be as cynical and skeptical of the union budget as possible. But this year actually promises a lot more difference. First of all, kudos to the government for not being a populist budget. That was a huge change and not at all what we as a youth expected. Thinking about as a youth, we'd like to focus more on the PM Gati Shakti scheme, which is brilliant to be honest. It's extremely brilliant because he finally plans to develop the national infrastructure pipeline. Okay, this is revolutionary, plus a 25,000 kilometer wide highway is created, including 400 new Vande Bharat trains. After the first one failed in the first travel itself. This is a great stride that they have taken. Second thing is, I'm extremely happy to know that that 200 or 2000 kilometer of railway is under the coverage to have more infrastructure, more development, digitization and such, which is amazing to know. And this also includes the Kate Betwa River project, which is apparently supposed to give about 9 lakh hectare farmlands to have more water in Madhya Pradesh and UP section. That's actually brilliant and great to hear that our government is doing such strides, and definitely not a populist budget. But as a youth, we'd like to think about 2 or 3 main regions. One is, of course, healthcare, second, education, and other, of course, cryptocurrencies and other such things, 5G auction and everything. And it's great to know that they finally held a national mental health scheme, which is great to know, which is finally great to know that someone in the Indian society has accepted mental health as something to be proud of. So yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
31st January, the so-called Indian economists were 842. 1st February, there were 3 lakh economists. 2nd February, there were 2,50,000 economists. Finally, 3rd February, it is 842 economists. So this is what is happening. And I am sure here it is, we are in the 4th February, they are all panel of experts who are permanent economists. Well, coming now to the budget part of it. Now, what is a budget? Every time we say budget, budget, budget. Every year it comes, it goes. What is a budget? It is basically a government is planning what it has to do in the next 1 year with whatever revenue it can gain and whatever expenditure they have to allocate to a particular activities. So this is what is in a broad nutshell we say that this is the budget. And what happens every time, of late I can say, whenever a government comes out with a budget, there is a problem. You know why? The problem is most of them are disappointed. When we analyze why these people are disappointed, public in general are disappointed. Why? Because 15 days before the budget, we start getting opinions. Budget should be like this, budget should be like that. They should be. And this time I have seen one more thing. They told that in Indian government will waive off the entire income tax. So no more income tax. So this kind of statements I have seen in the budget. So what happens? Everyone is very anxious. Oh, this budget is very glorious budget. We expect a lot of things. Yes, this is going to happen. It's going to happen. Finally, when they announce the budget, what happens? It is a regular thing what the government activity is going on, the expenditure is there. For that they have to recover it by the revenue. This is what is the understanding and this is what is happening every year. So the disappointment will be there and finally it evades because it gets regularized. Now the issue, one more which is coming up is, see, this aspect is not covered anywhere. We all are discussing about the budget. We all are discussing about pre-budget. We all are discussing, okay, post-budget till 31st March. What happens after that? Nobody knows. Over, everything is over. Now 1st April, it takes care, it goes on. This is the tax, this is the revenue, this is the expenditure, everything goes on. What happens after that? Nobody has taken the stand. Because 1st February budget is over, discussion happens, 15 days there will be here and ulla bulla, everything will happen. Then finally, nothing will happen, people will be quiet. I want an activity to happen wherein either 31st March or 1st April, we all should meet again and find out a review of the old budget. What has happened? Where they have done? What is the performance? Nobody is doing that. Over the years I have seen nobody is taking care of what has happened. Only the estimate is done, estimate of income, estimate of expenditure. Finally there is a fiscal deficit or there is a deficit or something happens there. Nothing is mentioned like what is allocated, what has been utilized. See, I am sure that most of the allocated revenue or allocated income to a particular expenditure is not utilized to the fullest extent. It is almost, you can see any activity, any nature of expenditure you see, it is not utilized to the fullest extent. So what happens to the revenue? We know that there is a fiscal deficit, we know that there is a little bit surplus or something nearby there or something, all those things we know, but what happens to the actual happenings there? Nobody has taken thought of it. I wish that we come out with one more session like this, wherein we understand what the government is doing and what exactly, if there is a proper utilization of the fund, we can say we have an active government. I know in many, not now, many years ago, there was a big allocation for a particular development activity which did not take up at all. And when it did not take up, what happened to the allocation? Nobody knows. Coming now to the taxation part of it, the most sort of and easy way of taxing is increase the excise duty for petrol. Your fuel, if it is increased, automatic everything, there is a cascading effect, and everywhere the tax will be increased and the revenue collection will be more. Probably if the electronic vehicle comes up, we do not know what exactly will be the new avenue of taxation, because the source will be limited and what will happen to the government revenue has to be thought of. This is my observation, and as we have a very brainstorming discussion and exercise here, and the knowledge you have imbibed with a lot of knowledge here, I thank all of you for participating and supporting the issue. Thank you very much, and thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts and inspiring our young minds. Now I request our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. C.A. Raghavendra Rao.
We were induced to put up solar plants, and we have done it. On putting that, the government is collecting the revenue again on that, because we produce, we have installed it, and the government current is produced by sun, and the levy is paid to the government. Then the excess current is used by government, and I think until now they are not paying anything. I think now there is a new scheme but until now they were not paying it. Suppose we produce current by generator, still there is some levy on that. It is when they do not supply the current, if we operate the standby generator, we have to pay levy on that. What is this system of the government? I cannot understand. That means you are curbing the initiative of the public. Private sector initiative is curbed in every respect, I tell you. See, that should be stopped. And another thing, when Mr. Sharath, yes. Another thing, I was very happy when the income tax people said that we are introducing self-assessment. Because we thought that the torture of going to the income tax office by the SSE and waiting there is stopped. His time is saved. But what happened? Now he has to spend more time on that because every self-assessment contains not less than 10 mistakes. Not less than 10 mistakes. And rectification takes at least 10 petitions and 10 months. What is this self-assessment? And many a times I tell you, when the stay petition is there, the assessment of course is always on the that is credit side of the income they see and assess it. They don't allow any expenditure. Because what I feel is that most of the assessments, self-assessment is done on contract basis only by untrained people. And to set it right, it takes time. And on the demand raised on such assessment, immediately show cause notice is issued. Why you have not paid? Then we ask the state. They said maximum stay is 20% they will give. Balance you have to pay. Whether it is several crores or some small amount, you have to pay it. And meanwhile we have appealed. And we say we have appealed. Then they say the matter is referred to the collection bank for collection of your FD. What is this? Unless you train people in handling such things, new system, now of course this currency is coming, the digital currency, unless you train people, if you introduce, because this is illiterate India, 50% of the people do not have education even today. How to cope up with that? That practical aspect should be studied and then only it should be introduced in a proper way. Now coming to the bad NPS and the other loans which was suggested by Mehta, I do admit many cases classified as NPA are not really non-performing assets. If they are performing assets, only thing is either because of the society conditions in the society or the policy of the government, there may be deferment of the payment. See, all borrowers do not think that they are not paying it. They will always take the loan with an idea of taking it. The former principle of advance was look to the character of the borrower and advance the loan. But now it is not like that. You want a project report, you want so many things. And I asked my banker, when he asked the project report to give it to the project, I said, you prepare it. I do not know whether I will realize it or not, whether I will get that much of sales or not. I have to prepare the expenditure, estimated expenditure, and I may realize, I may not realize the income side of it. How can I prepare? Then he said, it doesn't matter. I said, see, this is what happens. Why unrealistic? You see the person and give the loan. Whether he has got a real intention or a real project, then it should be advanced. See, the policy, budget policies also should include such things, some modern ideas, wherein progress should be done. This is the idea with which we have trained, and I want more participation from the students. This session, such session should be done for the whole day, so that every student should come up and discuss this matter, and he should know what is happening in the country, so that he can mold his character to become a next executive or the Reserve Bank governor. With this, there was a very intelligent discussion today. I am very happy about it, but the way the questions were asked, probably I think students should be allowed to come to the dais and ask the question boldly, and the panel will give the direction how to mend the things, and whatever is good. And my granddaughter said, youth, they are the people in whose hands the country is there. Next 10 years they will be ruling the country, and they should know what is happening. And with this idea, we have got plans to train our young students in all aspects, whether it is MBA, BA, BCom or engineering. They should be practical people. They should be able to rule the country when an opportunity comes. This idea of this panel, I thank you. Very intelligent discussion was there, and the moderator was exceptionally nice and tactful in handling the very ticklish matters. So I am very happy. I thank all of you for having been with us and participated very actively.
Dignitaries on the days as a token of our love and respect. I request the dignitaries to kindly receive the memento.
The coordinator of MBA program, deem this a privilege to thank the dignitaries. First and foremost, I would like to thank our beloved Chancellor, Dr. C.A. Raghavendra Rao ji. He has been an inspiration to us all. In this age, with this busy schedule, he has taken up and come here all the way to be with us and be a motivation to all of us. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to thank Dr. A. Srinivas Rao, our Pro-Chancellor, who was instrument for this budget session. It was his brainchild. We were doing it before, but it was lost somewhere. So, sir told us, why not we ignite this? So, this ignition came from sir. So, I would like to thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I would like to thank Ms. Meghna Rao, the budding administrator and future CA. All the best for your studies, and thank you for giving your prompt opinion about the youth here. Thank you, ma'am. And as you have seen, this panel members, I did not tell anything. They were so beautifully organized and so well done by all these panel members. So I would like to thank each and every one of the panel members, starting with CA Dharmendra B. Mehta sir, thank you very much. CA SS Nayak sir, thank you sir. Mr. PB Harish Rai, thank you sir. Dr. Narayan Karkatta sir, thank you sir. Dr. Sharat Chandra Rao, thank you sir. And the devil's advocate himself, the moderator, Professor Manoj Lewis, thank you very much. I would fail in my duty if I don't thank our Vice Chancellor, Dr. P.S. Aita. So he has been behind us to organize programs. Even though we feel why it's so late, but still it develops people, it develops the budding talent. I thank you from the bottom of our heart, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks are also due to the Dean of College of Management and Commerce, Professor Keetan Raj, who has been an inspiration. She single-handedly organized this program, the panel member, everything she did on her own. Thank you, ma'am, for everything. I would like to thank Dr. Ajay, sir, the Registrar Development. Thank you, sir. I would also like to place my thanks to all the registrars, the deans from various colleges, faculty members, research scholars, and all the students who have been with us, the MC. Thank you very much. And finally, the participants, both physical as well as virtual. You have given us lots of questions. Our panel members have answered it brilliantly. Thank you very much. And finally, the press and media who has given a wide coverage all over. Thank you very much.